Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. All right, first thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay,
I'll
thank
second
you.
it.
All right, all in favor, or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. All right, you've got the minutes in front of you, but you also received those via email by Christie yesterday, day before yesterday. I can give you an extra minute or two to look over them if you need it. If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move we approve the
Second.
minutes from, what is it,
Okay,
September 1st.
okay, we have a motion. We have a
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? So unanimously approved. All right, now we're on program and facilities update.
Okay, so, Run HB, you guys know, was canceled last week. The company sent us 3 dates that the police department and I, of course, had to look at together. They have not made an official announcement to my knowledge yet, but the one that was the town preferred that we proposed was December 10. So, that's what we sent back to them as our preference, and more to come on if that actually goes out from them. We will not release it till we see them release it to somebody. And then as far as this weekend goes, I talked to John, and he is very concerned about no wind.
Yeah.
He told me that he's watching the forecast today and tomorrow. It's like we had a heap of wind last weekend and no wind this weekend, but he's watching the forecast. If there's gonna be a chance that there's really no wind because there's not even a way to get the kites up, he's going to call off the people that were coming in from out of town in Charlotte and Myrtle Beach, and then he and Dave are just gonna be around. But they're scheduled to put the anchors out on Friday evening. And then they're scheduled to fly. He wanted to have everything up by 10 o'clock Saturday morning if they're gonna be able to fly. The band plans to be here around 10, and they hope to have their system up that we can use it for announcements and things by noon. So we're really only gonna have to run our system for about an hour from 11 to 12. And so I've decided we're gonna go with our smaller system instead of our big setup. Just a portable rolling one that we're gonna play music through like an old iPhone app. And then the concert will be 2 to 4. They're very excited and energetic, so that's gonna be good. I have had some of the public reaching out about the concert, and I do know that we're gonna have normal people that come to the concerts every Sunday night showing up. So, I think I mentioned to you guys that I would go over what you told me your preference were as far as assignments for Saturday for those that could work, then that we would go over that separately, before Saturday. You know, I can talk to you before you leave today, just to make sure everybody's good with the times. As far as any
Is the concert gonna be at the pavilion?
concert, will be at the pavilion from 2 to 4.
Just wanna make sure.
And then the only other thing that's gonna go out in a blast today that we haven't talked about before, we talked about internally, but we haven't made an announcement. Condos across the street are gonna get letters delivered by the police department today, and it's going out in a blast to the public. But the Jeremy and the police department have decided for safety and user conflict, and the fact that the cyclists are gonna be using the park to camp, and throughout the day, once they get here, that Brunswick Avenue is gonna be closed starting 10 o'clock on Saturday morning from Rothschild to Cole Street. And the condo owners will only be able to access that Cole Street. Because like their shower trucks and everything are gonna be in Davis on our side. So starting 10 o'clock Saturday morning until noon on Sunday, unless everybody's out of here earlier, the police will be monitoring it. It's gonna be barricaded, and you will not be able to drive through there. So
What's that again?
from Rothschild right here at the chapel
Mhm.
to Cole Street.
Okay.
And they'll barricade it just this side of Cole Street so the people in the condos can get in to that street to access their property. So if you're from, like Tarpon down, you guys are coming, you'll need to know to follow all the way down to Mermaids to come in instead of trying to come up this way. If that makes sense. And since they're making this loop, it was a lot of safety into the consideration too, because they're gonna come off the bridge, turn right, and they're gonna come in front of Town Hall. And so we don't want traffic in there while they're arriving and coming up to the pavilion.
So that again, they're gonna come off the bridge, go down the Ocean Boulevard.
Right here for this
turn
block.
Between the church and the,
So that they're not clogging up traffic turning left off the bridge.
okay.
Will they be parking for us, down here by the, wherever you need us? if we go
Yes, we're gonna there'll be some parking down there.
back? Okay,
And anybody
You
wants to
can,
park at our house.
we'll talk about it.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah, you can park in my house.
And this lot should be open as well
Okay.
on this side here. But you would have to go right here.
Did you say
and-
what time you anticipate the fastest runners to start showing up?
The earliest ones are, they thinking 11.
Okay.
And I'm planning to meet the band here at 10. So do y'all have any more questions on the event?
I guess the stations you referred to last time, you'll give assignments, but they're still the same as were in the minutes.
Yes, the only thing I don't know about is I've been in contact with the cheerleader, sponsor or representative that oversees them. And she has not called me back in the last couple of days, and I imagine everybody's got a lot going on this week, so they may not show. But other than that, that doesn't affect the other assignments.
So you still got photo booth, and you've still got, postcard station, and there's gonna still be a map for people.
There should still be a map, yes, that they're bringing, and I'll
designate where
confirm
they're
that
from.
with them.
Okay. Is there any other questions or discussion on programs and facilities? For Christie? If not, then we'll move.
I got
a
Okay,
question.
Sorry, Mike.
I got a question. Halloween. Is the town gonna do anything Halloween?
I'm still working on that.
Okay.
I'm deciding, I know that I think we mentioned this a little bit last time, I can't remember how much I got into it, but I can't have the police have to do anything else.
Right.
So what I was thinking is maybe have and it really depends on how my timing works out, cause I would be the only one that would be here to do that. But maybe do like a, fun costume walk run in the afternoon of, I think Halloween falls on Monday. And then have them be able to drop by for trick or treat like they did last year. But it'll have to fall solely on what I can do.
Right.
The
Okay.
festival is the weekend before that Monday, correct?
Correct.
So I know that is a Merchants Association function.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of this area is being used for vendors. But would it be possible that if we just did something minimal, at least do a trunk or treat or trick or treat, like we did a couple of years ago with the Easter Bunny when we couldn't do the egg hunt? Just something like that.
I don't know if I can commit to that myself. And I would feel bad about it going on if I wasn't here. So I'm thinking my availability is going to be on the
Well,
Halloween
if we did it
day.
that weekend, I know I will be here. And
Okay.
I think there may be some others. I mean, it'd be a matter of having some candy and putting it send it out and let people know that during that time frame. But I don't know how you can access us with everything else that'll be going on.
We have attempted that one year in the past when I first got here, and we had a booth set up here and did like a drop-in trunk. Well, it wasn't really a trunk or treat. It wasn't a trunk, but it was at our table. You could drop in for candy, and we had like carnival game. And it was like, even though people were parking here, most of the people were migrating down there. So I'm not saying we didn't get any participation, but it may be minimal. If we can send it out and, you know, maybe have it, if nobody has a picnic shelter rented, now that the picnic shelter's there, we might can set something up underneath there. But we can circle back around to it in the next few days. And then, before we move on as far as other facilities, the storm actually came up, like, I have pictures the next morning of the dock itself, the walkway up the dock is covered in marsh grass. There was a rack line up in the park, the playground definitely had wash over. Our fence that was just put up is wobbly on the right side. So the Public Works Department, what it did was it became detached at the top, and blew around. So the Public Works Department, despite all of their efforts and everything else they did, was able to secure it this week, and they've clasped it at the top. But I haven't been able to find out exactly how much or what else we're gonna have to do there. So there's definitely damage to the fence. And then as far as any other facilities, the facilities I've looked at in the parks and our structural facilities all look good, so.
All right, if there are any other questions for Christie?
I'd like to make one suggestion.
Okay,
I was down at Sailfish Park, and I think I think we need to put a couple more trash cans down there.
We're getting one brand new one.
I mean, really, really. I'm gonna tell you what. I was down there, and I went down there just to sit and fish. And the other thing is, I went home and got my little picker up trash, because the trash along that bulkhead, when the tide goes out, was horrific.
really?
And so I went and picked it up, but then, and picked up all the beer cans, but then there wasn't any place to put it. So I took it home and put it in my, but I mean, they were piled up. They were so piled, there was 2 trash cans there,
Okay.
and I mean, they were overflowing.
People just left them there.
Huh?
So is it
People just
mostly
leave
beer
them.
cans and
Yeah,
stuff?
well, I mean, there was a couple beer cans, but it's mostly, you know, just
You know, that's not.
wrappers, you know, and masks, and just plastic bottles, and just crap.
You know, I've been down there not a lot lately. But
Yeah.
that's not typically.
It's
the
not.
case.
I was gonna say, I was
Well,
down
I
there
mean,
this
the
week.
times that I've been, I hadn't seen it that bad,
Right.
but, you know, maybe,
Floors maybe.
you know, but I mean, I just couldn't believe how full the trash cans were. But anyway, that's just an observation.
We have one new one on the way. That's like, in its, kinda like the one over here at the park that's in its own corral system.
That's good.
The metal ones?
And then, you know, we can always look at, ordering another one. Emily was taken aback, cause when we left the last meeting here, people don't really understand the amount of money that it takes to buy the, commercial grade park trash
Yeah,
cans.
yeah.
So, she had her eyes open when I had her in there in a catalog going, and I need a price
Yeah.
breakdown, and, but we can definitely take a look at
Yeah,
it.
that's
if-
just,
'cause
yeah,
we don't
that's just
want-
an observation.
We don't want to have so much trash that it's that situation that it's going into our waterways, so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you for picking up the trash.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's,
I love
you know,
Selfish.
that's a true,
That's the
you're
greatest
really
place.
part of the A-team, as you say. For those of you that don't know, he took a fall at the last concert, and so he is definitely on the A-team.
That's right, but I took one for the town. I will look down to see if there's a strap laying there next time.
Okay, I think that's it. If it is, we'll move on to master plan and the RFQ for Sailfish Park.
So just wanted to bring this back up. So in the budget, you guys proposed that you wanted to start doing some planning at Sailfish Park, and it did make the budget cut. And so, I am hearing rumors that, it's not really rumors, some of them are actually saying it, that a lot of these companies are 6 months out in being able to take work. So my goal is to try to get some kind of document together for you to look at for the site-specific master plan for Sailfish by the December meeting, so that we can put something out.
Did you say it made the budget cut?
It made the budget,
Made
as
the
in we
budget. It
have
did not
money
get cut.
for it in
That's
the
what I
budget,
thought.
it did
Okay.
not get cut.
Okay.
But we want to make sure that we act on it because we need to have that money spent by June 30 or it
Okay.
falls into a different budget year.
Right. All right. You could lose the money if not. Okay. And there's been a lot that's been discussed, and this is for the benefit of our newest board member. There was a lot of discussion going back to even the master plan as to things that were being looked at, but we couldn't move forward on any of those until we knew what that site could handle. That's why we needed to get engineer input, correct?
Yes, because you can't piecemeal it.
Mhm.
There's stormwater considerations, and just to try to go down and plop down things. Peggy was here when that was trying to happen over here, and she remembers that nightmare, I'm sure, that lived through it once. So, we definitely need to make sure we do it the right way. I will say that, I was down there this week to look at the park. I don't remember now if it was yesterday or the day before. And I think it is probably a concern that we may have to reevaluate. I still think we can try to get a kayak launch permitted there, but I don't know that we're gonna get it done as quickly as we wanted to, because there's a large, Mike probably saw this from fishing, but there's a large, you're gonna have to have some steps or something to get down
Yeah.
to
Drop.
launch
Yeah.
a kayak.
Yeah.
And there's been some change there with that and getting to the sandy beach, and I'm not sure that we planned on it. It may come in and be a higher expense than what we planned on based on that. Or permitting may come into it so that it has to be included as we do this master plan instead. So I would go ahead and, there was a gentleman running for the commissioner seat that was interviewing, and he actually interviewed for this board too when they were, and he brought that up, that he really thinks it's a great idea, but that he's down there a lot and he doesn't, there's gonna have to be some mechanism to get down to launch the kayak.
So, I think it'd probably be good for us all to review the master plan or even previous notes as we had discussions for budget purposes for Sailfish. So when we come to the meeting in December, that everybody will kind of have that, those ideas fresh.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Any other discussion on the Sailfish Park?
Just to ask one question. Chrissy, you think you'll have trouble getting responses to this?
I don't know that we'll have problems getting responses. Cause site specific is not as big a project as what we just put out for the pier or block Q, I don't think, for the park. But if everybody is as backed up as some people have said, I just wanna make sure we're trying to do our part to get it addressed before we run into a different budget year.
Yeah.
Cause it's really, that's what happened with, and it's not that we weren't engaged with it, but that's honestly what happened with the master plan, is that it came, with the amount of time it took, it got us close to running into a different budget year before we finished up, so I don't wanna have to cross those unless I have to.
Very good.
Was there any flood damage? I hadn't been down there since the storm. After the storm flood, the water coming up into the park?
At Sailfish?
Yeah.
No, we inherited somebody's deck box though.
Somebody's what?
Deck box.
Oh, okay.
One of those deck boxes,
Yeah.
the nice, yeah,
Yeah.
it's over in the corner. 'Cause when we drove up, I said, what in the world is that? And that's kind of spilled out there. I thought maybe somebody might retrieve it, so I
Yeah.
haven't told Public Works to remove it yet. But I did make the comment to that point, Mike, that, We replaced the bulkhead this past summer.
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
There, and I think if we had not done that when we did, that we would have had a large problem
Yeah,
there. Because there was a lot of erosion there already.
yeah.
And it held up well. It looks great.
Anything else? Anyone? We do not have any public participants, so we will forego that section of the agenda. And no other discussion of anything. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Sure.
Melanie and Vivian second. Okay, we got a second, so we're adjourned.